Ding dong. We're live. Good morning.
Wow.
All right, so we have some important stuff to talk about today. We're talking
Yeah.
about Portugal. We're
Yeah.
talking about house sitting. We're talking
Yeah.
about Kat from Rebloom Room. Welcome
Hello.
everyone, and welcome Kat.
Hi, everyone.
All right. All right. So I forgot to tell you, Kat, I'm going to do my super long introduction. Okay. So
Do it.
we're talking house sitting because it's house sitter season. All right. If you want to escape the weather, if you want to escape the whatever, anything. If you need a break, if you need some time away in a different place, it's house sitter season. I am currently house sitting right now in exotic Raleigh, North Carolina. Kat just finished a house sit in really exotic Porto, Portugal. And so we're going to talk a lot about house sitting today, I think, because some of you guys, as much as I keep telling you it's for you, some of you don't believe me. So I had to bring on a guest, some reinforcement to let you know that house sitting really is for you. So we're going to talk about that. But we're also going to talk about Portugal, the love of my life, okay? And some other things. Kat, we're going to talk about what Kat has going on as well. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Stephanie Perry. I am a year-round house sitter. I'm the creator of House Sitter School. I am the co-creator of Exodus Summit, and I help Black women embrace ease through house sitting, through taking a career break, through moving abroad, through bopping around as a digital nomad. If this sounds good to you, please make sure that you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications, ring that notification bell so that you will be notified when I post a new video or when I go live with a wonderful guest. Hi, Kat.
Good
All right, so
morning.
tell us a little bit about why you were in Portugal. You just came back from Portugal. I guess I feel
Yeah.
like kind of telling the story for you. Tell us
Yeah.
why you were in Portugal recently.
So I was in Portugal because I needed a break, and I was house sitting in Porto. So for like I guess 15, 16 days, a little over 2 weeks, I was house really dog sitting in an apartment in Porto. And yeah, then after that, I spent a few days in Lisbon just to have the vacation part of my vacation. Because I was also working remotely when I was dog sitting. So
Okay.
it was kind of a workcation.
Good. And you needed a break from where do you live?
I live in DC, and, it's hot here, but it's also hot in Portugal. So, I just wanted a change of scenery, and I love Portugal. So I wanted to spend time there. My kid was on a class trip, so I had that extended period when I could go for a slightly longer time without feeling guilty. So
Oh,
that's what I did. Yeah.
good. Okay, good. Yeah, so parlaying like a little something into a bigger something.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
So you'd been to Portugal before?
Yeah, this is probably my fifth or sixth trip there. And I've been to Porto. This is probably my third time to Porto. And yeah, I want to explore more of the country
Yeah.
and see where I like being, And Porto, the first time I went to Porto, I was really like, let me just go to Porto and just kind of like say that I've been there. Like, it's the second largest city in Portugal, and let me just go there and just like check it off my list,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
And then I went there, and I was like, it's so beautiful, and it's ugly at the same time, and it's beautiful, and it's like this intriguing. It's kind of this weirdly intriguing city for me that I just felt like I wanted to see more of it.
Portugal is amazing. I have explained this to people, right? I think I've been a decent ambassador for Portugal. I know. Okay, so
Yeah.
last time y'all got on me about the notification ding,
Oh,
and so I turned off that. Now this is just going to echo. Okay, I'm in a different location. There's hardwood floors instead of the carpet. Okay, it's just going to echo.
mm,
It's okay. All right, I'm telling you, it's going to be okay. We're not repeating last week where y'all had me
yeah.
spend 10 minutes trying to fix a problem that was not my problem. All right,
Well, it
it's
might be
just going to be.
something. It might be something different. So I'm going to
Yeah.
close out all of my other browser situations
I don't
because.
hear an echo for you. I hear it
Okay.
here. It's just because I'm house sitting. Like I told y'all, I'm house sitting. I'm in somebody's condo.
Right.
It's just echoing. Okay.
All right. Let us know if that sound is better.
Okay.
Hopefully, it's better.
It's gonna be all right. We not. We're not going to spend 10 minutes in the chat complaining about things, okay? It's going to be all right. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you,
Thanks.
Kay. Okay. All right. And good morning to everyone. Um, let's see. So, Kat, you close some things out. We'll see. If this is better, then let us know if this is better. Okay. All right. Good morning, everyone. Tiffany wants to know if there were wildfires in Portugal. So I do want to talk about house sitting, but I also want to talk about the weather because Portugal is a
Yeah.
place that is normally a place where we can kind of escape the super hot. People who live in a place like Dallas could go to Portugal and escape some of that extreme weather, but not this year. It's been a little different. I did a whole video about why women should go house sit in London right now. And then London had a heat wave. Now the heat wave was like 3 days, but they had extreme temperatures in London. So everyone's experiencing extreme weather, but it looks different in different places. How equipped was Portugal for the hot weather? Like they don't have, most people there in Porto at least probably don't have air conditioning.
Um, some people do, some people don't. The apartment that I stayed in did not have air conditioning at all. We had a fan, and I was worried about it, but it was a ground floor apartment
Okay.
that didn't get a lot of direct sunlight, which for me is usually like
Uh-huh.
but actually because of the heat factor, it actually turned out to be really nice.
Okay.
I had lunch with a woman who lived in an apartment that had a great view and sunny, and she was like, I'm dying, I'm dying. Even with the shutters closed, the light blocking shutters, she was like, it's an oven in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, the apartment I stayed in was comfortable. It was comfortable, and I would open the windows, have the fan blowing, and we were fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Also,
right.
the floors were tile, so they stayed cool.
Good.
So, but it was hot out.
That's good. Yeah, I decided I'm not taking house sits this summer if you don't have a pool. So this particular house sit is in a community. So she's got a community pool, and then the next house sit, the next two house sits that I go to, they have a private pool. Like I'm not, I'm not, I'm not dealing with this weather on my own. I need help. I need help. I need swimming pools. I need lots of indoor time. I need a lot of stuff. I don't hear an echo, friends. I don't know what to tell y'all. Listen,
Echo, echo, echo. I'm trying to like get rid of it. Have my headphone off. I don't know what else to do. Oh, maybe if I just, I really don't know what else to do.
okay, we're just gonna roll with it. It's gonna be okay. I promise y'all, it's gonna be okay. Listen, so I'm a person who has been out of the American way of living for long enough, even though I spend a lot of time in America. I'm in America today, right? I've been away, so things that seem urgent and crucial and critical to a lot of people are not important to me. Okay, if there's an echo, I'm telling y'all, we're gonna roll with it. You can roll with it. Okay, I know you can. I know we can do this.
I'm going to keep farting around with it because I want good sound.
Yes.
Is that
So
better?
Kat is a
Let me know.
podcaster. Kat is a podcaster, and Kat is going to be more concerned with things than I am. Okay, this is part of my entire brand. Perfection is not my brand. You've never seen a perfect piece of content from me, and you've still learned. You've still taken sabbaticals. You've still moved abroad. You've still become digital nomads. You've still started house sitting without perfection. Okay, we have some new people. Maybe I haven't stressed that enough. I don't know. So I watched the replay last week, and I was like, I spent way too much time dealing with that notification thing. So I don't want to do that again. Okay. All right. So we love Portugal. Yes, it was hot. No, they're not equipped for super heat, but you can accommodate you can make some adjustments to be okay in the heat in Portugal. So Portugal was good. Now let's talk about the house sit. Was this your first house sit?
Yeah. This was my second house sit. It was my first international house sit. So, damn it. I'm obsessed with it.
I know you're going to worry with it.
It was my first internet. Yeah, it was.
Kat is the kind of person who is going to work to try to fix it. I am the kind of person who will be like, you'll be all right, okay? So you're seeing two different approaches to things, two different content creators who do things two different ways. Okay. All right. If you want to take a few minutes, you can take a few minutes. I know that there are people who would appreciate it. If you don't want to take a few minutes, you know that I am down with it.
I do.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Built-in
anybody
microphone.
here have any Portugal love stories that they want to tell us in the chat while while we're getting this fixed? I experienced Portugal in a little different way. I went from Southeast Asia, where I traveled for a year, to Portugal back in 2016, and it was just like refreshing. It was not Asia, where things are hard, right? When you're in a place where everything is different, everything is different. Surprise, surprise. The language is different, the food is different, the transportation system is different, like everything is different. Portugal and Europe in general is a little more familiar, like it's foreign. It's foreign to us. I'm not saying we do things exactly like they do in Portugal. It's foreign, but it's a little more familiar, and more importantly, like the transportation system, the metro, right? They have metros. You're not hopping on the back of a motorcycle like in Vietnam. The motorcycle taxi is the way you get around in Vietnam. In Portugal, you get on the metro, right? And I really appreciate that about Portugal. It's what the US, parts of Europe and Asia are what the US could be. And so I really appreciate that about Portugal. But it's familiar enough, right? But it's also different in that there are black people in Portugal. It was different from Asia, where there ain't no black people, right? Everybody, every black person you saw was a tourist who was really excited to see you. In Portugal, they're just black people living their lives. Portugal, I think, is probably the first place I visited where people spoke to me in their language and just assumed that I was one of them. And I appreciated that. Even in Brazil, nobody spoke Portuguese to me. Like everybody said, "Hello, American woman." But in Portugal, people like assumed that I was one of them, and then if I'm not, I need to let them know. I let them know by carrying a paper map. But it was a nice, relaxed, more relaxed place than traveling someplace like Asia, but more to do than some other places. Did you find Portugal? I guess you do. You've been back. Have you found Portugal like a safe place for you, a black woman who moves around the world?
Yeah. I mean, I've mostly been in the major cities, so Lisbon and Porto, and definitely Lisbon. I mean, there are people of color, there are black people, there are people from all over the world there. And I noticed the difference when I came from Porto to Lisbon. Like I felt comfortable in Porto, walking around, taking the metro. But there are definitely fewer black people, just out where I was hanging out. Than when I went to Lisbon, and I was like, whoa, okay, there's a lot more black people here in Lisbon. But both places, it was like no problem at all. Like, it's like they've seen a black person before.
That's right.
Nobody's blinking an eye
That's
about
right.
a black person on the street at all.
That when you start, when you want to go someplace and like just feel comfortable there, that can be a really important factor, right? There are some places where even though you love the place, you're always going to stand out. And in a good way, Portugal is a place where like hardly anybody really stands out, I don't think.
I think so. And however, I haven't been in the smaller towns. I haven't spent time, like I went to Setúbal for a day, just a day trip at the end of my trip. It's a smaller city. So I don't know. I feel comfortable there, but whatever. I just feel like if I'm in a smaller town, I might have a different experience.
True.
Because they, could be more parochial. People are hanging out there for their whole life, and they have their small community, and maybe I'm stand out as an outsider, no matter what color I would present as.
Right.
So they might say, "Ooh, who is this? Who is this outsider?" Because historically Portugal has been pretty. Sort of the communities have been isolated. That highway or the trains and the highways that go up and down that make it so easy to get from the north to the south of Portugal are not very old. They they had the longest dictatorship in Europe. They had a dictator until the 70s, and so that dictator, he was not interested in people going around and connecting with each other. So there are communities that for a very long time were isolated. And so there's still sort of, remnants of that in the country where people maybe aren't as mobile as they have become.
That's interesting because that's what I say about Portugal. It's a place that it's obvious. That's what I think I just said it last week. In Portugal, it's obvious that they want to get people from one place to another. I didn't realize this was new for them, right? It's clear when because I've been to some small. I visited Coimbra for a while, and from Coimbra, I did some small town like Instagram visiting, visiting just to take some pictures of the store, of the shops and stuff, the tile buildings and stuff. And it was really easy. The smallest town, you can find the smallest town in Portugal, you can get there from a
Train, bus,
city.
yeah.
It's really, it is really connected. And I didn't realize that that was a new thing or like a relatively new thing for Portugal.
It is a relatively new thing. There are communities where they were like, we couldn't get from here to there. Like, and it's not far. It's just they weren't connected for the longest time.
That's interesting. Did you, and that how did you get around this last time? Did you have a car or were you?
No. That was one of my requirements. I realized as I was applying for house sits, I realized because this is my first international house sit, I wanted to keep it simple. I didn't want to have to rent a car. I didn't even, using the house owner's car. I didn't want to have to do that either. Not on my first international house sit. I wanted to get that 5-star review. I didn't want there to be any issues. Logistics are hard enough when you're coming and there's like a train strike in Portugal and there's like all these airfare, the airlines are going crazy, flights are getting canceled. I was like, let me keep it simple. I'm going to fly like a nonstop flight and then I'm going to catch a little hop to Porto from Lisbon and I don't want to have to drive. I don't want, I just wanted it simple. So yeah, that's how I got around. And I actually ended up, how did I get back? So I flew from Lisbon to Porto the first time, and then I took the bus because there was a rail strike, and I was like, I don't want to mess with that. Yeah. And later the rail strike did affect me. I was supposed to go to Sintra. I made a video about it. I was supposed to go to Sintra, but the guy was like, ain't no trains going, lady. Ain't no buses neither. Like, what? Which was not completely accurate. But there were long lines in some of the train stations, and some of the trains had been canceled because of it. And also there are fires that are affecting these areas, because they're going through a really bad drought, and then the fires just blaze up. They just spark, and then they just go throughout the countryside. So there was a big fire around Sintra. And there were fires around Porto too, I believe, but it's cooler up there, so I know there were definitely fires around Lisbon and Sintra.
Could you tell? Could you was there any problem with the air when you were in Porto?
No, there wasn't a problem with the air. I can't remember what trip I was on, where I was going, but I remember looking in the distance and seeing like this plume of smoke. And I was like, I think that was around Sintra, where I could see this plume of smoke, and it didn't look inviting.
So listen, last few places I've been, there've been wildfires. Like it's just, like, I guess, is that a part of life now? Like COVID and wildfires are just everywhere. It's like, and we don't even hear that much about them. I remember just a couple before COVID, the wildfires would take over the news. Now it's like, oh yeah, California's on fire right now, but nobody's even mentioning it because it's just it is now.
Yeah, it is an every summer thing in Portugal. I don't know how long it's been an every summer thing, but it is. It's.
Kia says that she's moving to Portugal. She's scouting it out in January. Very good. Learning Portuguese now. It's very different. Yes. So there's do you speak any other language besides English, Kat?
I speak Spanish, French, German, and Spanish, French, German. I don't know what else.
So many languages you can't remember. Why do you speak so many languages? How did this happen?
French because I took it in school forever. Spanish because I decided I'm American and I need to speak Spanish. And also because I was traveling to Mexico. German because of a boy. And Portuguese I'm learning too. I'm not very good at it yet, but yeah.
How would you?
And I learned Swedish for a while because of a boy also. And then Serbo-Croat at some point because I like the Balkans. So.
Yes, you do like the Balkans. Yes, I hope we can talk about that today too. Yes. Well, okay. So, how would you rate your level of Spanish comprehension or fluency or whatever?
It's I.
Okay. Okay. So, being okay with Spanish, I with Spanish, how has that transition been to learning Portuguese? Because people are always like, if you speak Spanish, you'll be okay. No, it's not. I mean, you may be able to decipher some stuff, but it's not like, oh, I get it. I can.
Yeah, it might subconsciously, but I don't transport Spanish into Portuguese. I use a blank slate and I just treat the language as a completely new language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a question, I think last week about, or no, last week we talked about places women wanted to go. Where do you want to move to? And a lot of women had on their list of priorities, I want to go to a place where English is widely spoken. Please help me explain to these women that that's not really important. What do you think?
I mean, as somebody who loves learning languages, I can say that for myself, but some people don't like learning languages, and for some people, they don't feel, I don't know, it might be something like for me, I used to have this thing where I don't do math. Math doesn't go into my brain. And it could be a block or it could be real, like I can work through my math issues and like figure out how to do a budget, but it could have been possible that like really my brain just didn't want to do the numbers. But it could be somebody with language, like either it could be like a real thing, like maybe your brain just doesn't want to learn a new language, or you can get, work through a block.
Okay.
So I don't know whether, it depends on how your brain works. If your brain is willing to help you learn a new language, then you can learn a new language. If your brain isn't trying to do that, then, you might want to be around English.
All right.
Everybody's brain is different. That's my assumption.
That is correct. That is true. I think so you're going to see Kat is what I would call full of opinions, like me. Okay. I recognize this. Kat is not afraid to say her opinion out loud. Okay. This is why this is going to be good, because you're going to hear from someone who's going to disagree with me on everything. Kat, right? Fundamentally, we agree on everything, but when you get things down to the nitty gritty, Kat has a different approach to things, and it has a different, perspective, and is not afraid to say it, right? Which I love, love. Okay, so I think I may have said this not sounding nice, but I mean it in the best possible way. As a person who loves to tell you what I think on things, I love to see that in other people, because you know this. You have a podcast. You talk to enough people who are just afraid to tell you what they really think and what they really feel. You're like, no, that's why you're here. Please share.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I could just talk myself if it wasn't for that. Okay. So Janice, hey Janice, twin mommy Janice says, if you can read Spanish, I think you can read a little Portuguese. Yes, but speaking it is not similar at all. I would agree with that. You can decipher.
I agree too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't sound the same. Like it sounds more like Russian than Spanish.
Ah. Is that how you hear it?
Because it has a lot of If you listen to Portuguese on like just in passing, to me it sounds like Russian.
And the Portuguese, not like Brazilian Portuguese. In Brazil, they sing everything. All right. Every sentence is a song in Brazil. In Portugal, they are more like, let's hammer these words. Okay. Cut it off. What are you talking about? Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I didn't realize until after I learned a little Brazilian Portuguese that they don't even use você. They don't use você in Portugal. In Brazil, they use você for you, and in Portugal, they use a senhora, senhor. So it's just different. And so there is a bit of an issue with Brazilian Portuguese, because before I was like, I'll just learn it and it's fine, and it'll be a little like, British English versus American English. But there's also the factor of anti-Brazilian sentiment in Portugal that is real. I haven't really delved deeply into it, but I do remember talking to a woman who lives in Portugal who migrated, I guess, from, I don't remember where. Maybe she's Brazilian and she's married to an English man. And they were looking for an apartment, and she was like, every time I called, they were like, no, it's already gone. And then my husband called, and they were like, yes, come on down. So she experienced some anti-Brazilian, some anti-Brazilian-ishness in where she was looking in Lisbon. So that it's a thing. It's a thing. So I have that on my radar of what's up with the anti-Brazilian sentiment in Portugal. I haven't really delved into it, but I think it's there.
Yes, yes. Did you see, so you said that you saw more Black people living in Lisbon than in Portugal. I mean, in
Porto.
Did you feel a difference in the way that you particularly were treated between the two places?
No.
And how long was this last trip? With the house sit-in?
Well, yeah, so the house sit was about 16, 15, like a little over 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then I had a few days in Lisbon at the end, just for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Hi,
Yeah.
Tiffany. Tiffany says, I can understand someone wanting to be around English speakers. It's not just being uncomfortable because it's unfamiliar, but uncomfortable from a matter of safety and being taken advantage of. Yes, I wasn't, my thoughts on not putting that as your priority, right? Not making your move abroad priority list based on where they speak English widely, right? It's not about you being uncomfortable or comfortable. It's about like you can learn it, right? And Kat just told me maybe not everyone, right? You're going to be uncomfortable with a lot of things, right? Like I just said, in Vietnam, it's not a taxi, it's a motorbike, and you just get on back, right? You're going to be uncomfortable with a lot of things. I understand that. But it's 2022. Language translation apps are out there. Tutors are out there. In 2022, you can even buy someone's time. You know, hey, I need to do this transaction. I need a person who is fluent in both languages to come with me and do that, right?
Come with me to the bank and help me, establish my utilities.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You're not on your own out here. Hey, Savvy Soldier, it says, I use a translator wherever I go. Yeah, you're not on your own out here. It's not like 1970 something where you're traveling with a book, right?
Yeah.
The Frommer's Guide, right? And, you can't figure out the language.
I need to learn more Portuguese. I really do, because I was super, I guess I was lazy. And then when I try to speak Portuguese, something else comes out. French comes out, Spanish comes out, German comes out. Almost anything but Portuguese will come out of my mouth, and I'm like, come on.
That's your fault for knowing so
Come
much.
on, man. I know this.
Letting these boys dictate what languages you learn, and now your brain is full.
Exactly. I'm like, get some of the German out, and then bring some Portuguese in. Yeah.
Are you in the process of, is DC, so DC is your home and you live in DC, but you enjoyed a good run of time out in the Balkans and I believe Croatia.
Yeah, so that was decades ago when it was still called Yugoslavia.
Oh.
That was decades ago.
But you visited, when we were doing the challenge, weren't you in Croatia back then, about a year ago?
It wasn't me.
2 years
Must
ago?
have been some other lady.
In your hammock. Where's Rashida? In your hammock. When we did the we did the Get Your Next 3 Clients Challenge. Right? Weren't you in Croatia at that time?
No, ma'am. I wasn't in Croatia. I haven't been to Croatia since before it was. Wait, have I? No, I don't think I've been. I don't think I haven't been there. But I did have a good visit there. Like I drove all the way from northern Germany all the way down to Greece and back. So I saw a fair amount of the coast, and I camped on the beach in various places, and drove on the autoput. That was harrowing, but yeah.
What's going on with you at this point?
Me.
Are you a person who lives in DC and will be living in DC for the foreseeable future? Are you working on a move abroad? Are you working on a sabbatical
What I'm working on is launching my high school child into adulthood. That's like my top priority, launching my child. Along with that comes longer house sits, comes scouting trips to various locations when once, I feel comfortable that my kid is launched, that I move, long term.
When is graduation?
In a year.
Okay. And then is this kid considering going to Europe for college?
As much as I have, like, I keep planting that seed and the seed just keeps, like, not sprouting. I'm like, hey, what about this? What about that? And the seeds aren't sprouting. Yeah, I think, wanderlust must jump a generation or something. I don't know.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah, that's where we are.
Are you a mom who is like, as soon as you are in your new place, your dorm, your apartment, or whatever, I'm gone? Or do you feel like you're going to need a transition period?
I'm going to have a transition for sure.
Yeah.
Transition. I'm not going to, like, kick the baby out of the nest and, like, fly or not. No, I'm going to keep doing the mom thing and make sure that everything's cool. And, wherever I am, that's home,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I talk to moms who do it different ways, right? There are some moms who are like, I drive you to your campus, and then I drive myself to the airport. Or somebody will drive us to your campus, and then they will take me to the airport, and that is that.
Yeah.
And that. Other moms not into that.
That's what my kid told her college counselor in a meeting. They were like, oh yeah, you're going to be flying out the day after graduation. Is that right? I was like, I don't know where this information comes from, but I'm a little bit more, gradual, make sure things are fine. And yeah, I'm more than ready to not be here, but I want to, I have to be mom.
Okay, and you talked about taking some scouting trips in the future. Do you want to share your list with us?
So, I will go back to Mexico.
Yes.
I've been to Mexico a bunch of times, and I'll, I haven't been to Querétaro, I haven't been to Mérida, so, I know you hate it because it's so hot.
I don't hate it. I just don't get it. I don't get it.
But wherever I stay in Mérida, we'll have a plunge pool at the very least, clearly. But yeah, I think, I'll go to Mexico and see what else. Costa Rica. I don't think I'm going to live in Costa Rica. I visited Costa Rica, but I don't think I'm going to live there. It seemed a little boring to me to live there. It's not. I'm not really a person who gets bored, and I wasn't bored in Costa Rica, but I could see it being a little not. Maybe because of the food. Like I love Mexican food. There's so much variety. Like you can get, in Oaxaca, there's the type of food in Mexico City, different specialties in the Yucatan and Quintana Roo, but Costa Rica,
Rice and beans.
you got your rice and beans.
Rice.
You got your rice and beans.
Rice and
If you eat meat, there's a piece of meat there, maybe a piece of lettuce and scene. That's it. Every day. The fruit is delicious. The fruit, yum, every day, all day. But that sort of was sort of a metaphor for me for like the whole experience of Costa Rican culture. And I was just there on vacation for like 10 days. So what do I know about Costa Rican culture? Nothing. But so if I'm there and really looking at the culture and seeing, is there anything that kind of hooks me about it? So far, it's kind of like Teflon. Nothing hooking me.
I would agree that it's boring. The city, like the Central Valley, it's boring, right? And it's strange that it's boring because they are a mix of cultures. They're very Caribbean. They're very German. There's a lot of African, right? But yeah, it's strange that doesn't make it exciting.
It's interesting. Interesting, boring. Like, why are you so boring?
Yes. Yeah, you have to be okay with that. You have to know what you want. Now Sherry's on here saying Querétaro is fun. I don't know about that either. It struck me as boring as well. Right? It depends on what you're into. Querétaro has a good proximity to San Miguel, which is one of the cutest parts of Mexico. I mean, just cute, adorable. So it's easier from Querétaro to get to San Miguel. without living in San Miguel.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
to me, San Miguel is a little too white, and it's a little too expensive for what you're, for what you're getting. The white people have brought prices up.
Yeah.
Puerto
Yeah.
is a good choice if you want some proximity to San Miguel without the San Miguel pricing.
Yeah, I would like that. Yeah. And I don't mind being bored. I want to say, being bored is okay. Like I can always find something to do, creative projects, I always make my own, experience fun. However, there are limits.
There are limits.
So,
yeah. We have to know what we're into. Okay. So Mexico. Do you want to give
Costa
us
Rica.
Do you want to give
Costa
us
Rica. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. And do you want to give us another place you're thinking of scouting in the future?
For seriousness, no. Those would be the three.
Okay.
For seriousness. And then, I have, I've never been to Bahamas, and I have roots in the Bahamas, so I'd like to go there. Also, I saw that Dominica has it's called Work in Nature. They have like a newish, I think, remote work visa situation. It's one of the least expensive in the Caribbean, apparently. So I'm interested in investigating that. Dominica was not on my radar before, so I'm looking at that, and also Bahamas. Yeah, I'd like to see Bahamas.
Okay,
Spend
wonderful.
some time there. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of these Caribbean islands are coming up with digital nomad visas to, of course, entice digital nomads to come and stay for a while.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are expensive.
Yeah, some of them are just like, wow, why?
They're
It's a little
making it
too
clear.
blatant. Like we're making money off of you. It's a little too upfront there. And Dominica's apparently is not quite as pricey. So
That's good. The Cayman Islands is like, listen, only rich people need to apply. Okay, we don't want everybody coming here. The Cayman Islands was like, what price can we set so that most people won't even try? Yeah. Is Dominica, so that's the country that I always say twice because I never know if I'm saying it right. I say Dominica or Dominica because I never know. So it's Dominica.
I don't know.
Oh.
You're right. Maybe I'm saying it wrong.
And
If
people
they
always-
wanted me to say Dominica, they should have put a Q in it.
people, and then somebody in the chat will try to correct me, and I'm like, reading it doesn't help me, right? Like reading it, I don't know either. When I used to be a pharmacy technician, and my pharmacist's son went to medical school, and she always said Dominica, so I'm like, okay, we're gonna call it Dominica. But I don't know either. But it's good that they are offering a digital nomad visa. What I learned very recently is the Caribbean can be much more affordable than we know. And good internet in the Caribbean. So you have to work, you're working, you told us in Portugal while you were house sitting, you were working remotely. So you need to still find places where you can have access to good internet.
I do. Yeah. And so that was my sort of workation.
Yes.
So I do have a job where I work remotely, but it's work remotely from the States. Like I haven't tested a sort of, hey, I'm going to move and keep my job. I don't know that I would be able to do that with this job. In fact, I just like got my house sit and like got my plane ticket, made the plans, and then I told my manager. Because I was like, I'm doing this. And I was like, and we haven't talked that much about house sitting, so I'm going to go back to it. So I probably, from like March to June, I probably applied for like 20 house sits.
Okay.
In Portugal, France, Italy, Quebec, Mexico. Because I knew I had this time when I could be away for a bit longer. And so it kind of was a learning experience as I was applying. Actually, I also applied to one in Vermont because during the lockdowns, I was like, oh, it'd be so nice to be in the country, and just like plenty of wide open space and quiet. And so I applied for this sit in Vermont that was for a week, and I had the interview, and they offered it to me. And then I was like going through the logistics, and I was like looking at the air. I was going to fly up there and rent a car rather than drive, just to make it easier. because I thought I could tack on like a trip to Montreal after that because it's so close.
Right.
So I was like, okay, because it's only a week and I have a whole month to play with, so I don't want to just go away for a week and come back boring. So I thought, okay, I'll go to Vermont, tack on a trip to Montreal after that. And the logistics started getting crazy. I was like, okay, I'm going to fly there, and I'm going to rent the car, and I'm going to drive to their house, and then drive it back, and then I'm going to take a bus, train, plane. How am I going to get? Then it was just like, ugh.
Yes.
But it was a beautiful sit. It was like a beautiful house with a cat and chickens, and they had their own lake to swim in, like a spring-fed lake with like a house with a hammock, and it just looked so beautiful and peaceful. And I needed a car, and I needed to drive, and it was too much. So it was a good learning experience for sort of like, this is what I thought I wanted. This is actually not what I want.
Right.
And that was kind of like it kind of just like every time I did something and I had a talk with the folks. Like there was one in the southern part of Portugal that I was offered, but the dog wasn't very friendly. She was more like the dog that would go outside, spend the whole day outside, and then like wasn't really cuddly. I needed a cuddly dog because what's the point of having a dog if they're not going to be like happy to see you? What's the point?
Even if the house is lovely and a place that you are excited to be in, really? Okay, that's fine. You right?
Yeah.
You know what you want. You know what you need. So you brought up a lot of important points. So first, you said that you applied for probably 20 house sits. I think that this is a thing that new house sitters get wrong. They apply for a house sit and then they wait, and then they apply, and then they apply for one house sit, and then they wait for word on that one, and then they apply for one more, right? When you see a house sit that fits your basic needs, basic requirements, apply for it. Applying for a house sit is not the same as confirming. Right. So Kat said she applied, then they had a conversation, and then it was time to try to confirm for the house.
Right.
There are steps to this, but
Yes.
you can't start the process until you start the process. You have to apply.
Yes.
And apply often. Apply early, apply often.
Yeah. And after they, like I would apply, we'd have the conversation, and then if they offered it to me, I would say, give me 24 hours to look at the logistics, and then I'll confirm.
That's right.
Because if you're going international, you really have to make sure that you can, like the plane, because it was the summer, so flights are expensive. Even though I was using points, to get the flight, there are all these things to work out. So the flights, and then you have to figure out, okay, once from the airport, what do I have to do from that point? Do I have to rent a car? Do I have to take the train? Do I have to, what else? And so you just have to, and then confirm the dates, like make sure, so you have to get there, for this one I got there a day ahead, because, just because I didn't want to, they were leaving early in the morning, and I wanted to make sure that I met the dog before they left. There's like a handoff, like with the dog, it's like there's like a psychological thing. The dog sees you with their owner, you're walking with the dog and the owner. In their mind, they're like, okay, this person is okay. Like, I just wouldn't want to do that with a dog, because there's that dog psychology, and especially if the dog's a little bit. Some dogs are really laid back, but there are other dogs that are more dog-minded. That are like, this is my person. My person said it's okay. This person's okay. So I did that, and then I made sure, like, logistically, what day exactly, when are you coming back, what time of day can I leave? Okay, so I'm going to leave early afternoon because they're coming in early evening. That'll give a little bit of time. So you have to work out the actual super details of the logistics. So that everything's going to be good, the dog's going to be good, the house is going to be good, everybody's going to be happy. So I always ask for 24 hours to figure all that stuff out, confirm with them the flight time, I'm leaving on this train or bus, and all of those logistics, they take some time. So, yeah.
Yeah, I do it that way in a little different order. So I apply for normally when I see the house sit, if it's a place that I'm not sure how much it's going to cost me to get there or whatever, I'll do a quick Momondo search right away, right? Just to see if I have to fly there, what is it going to cost me? Or like here, I knew I was driving, So whatever. And then I apply for the house sit, and before we talk, I already know if I'm gonna if I'm gonna do it or not. And then sometimes I'll cancel I'll cancel before we even
Yeah.
to do our conversation. If
Yeah.
I know, like, this just does not work.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I just saw something really awesome. I can't remember. I just saw something really awesome. And I was like, let me do a quick search and see. And then I was like, no, unfortunately,
Yeah.
I'm no longer available. I just shoot them
Yeah.
a message, let them know, take
Yeah.
me out of the running. You don't even have
Yeah.
to do my interview.
Yeah, I had one of those in Stockholm, Sweden this summer. They actually did offer me the house sit, and then I looked, and Stockholm, you fly in, and you don't have to do it. You just public transportation to wherever they live. But those flights, when I was looking, I was like, whoa, whoa! Like it was points plus cash. I was like,
It's a new day on the. It's a new day on the what is it called? Flight front, right?
Yeah.
There was a
Yeah.
time when it would be no big deal, right? Flights,
Yeah.
no big deal trying to figure that out. But
Yeah, but also in the summer, it's always more expensive in the summer. So in the fall, it should be much easier. Yeah, and again with that particular house dog sit, the dog, they were like, you don't have to. In fact, you don't have to walk the dog. In fact, she doesn't really go on the leash. She's a little bit. I was like, what's with the dog that can't go on the leash? That like Spidey sense. You can't put your dog on the leash. That means she's not trained to walk on the leash. What else is she not trained to do? You know, that kind of like a little bit Spidey. With dogs, with cats, whatever. Cats, they cool. But with dogs, I want to meet the dog in advance. I want to see what the dog's vibe is. Because I don't want to get to a house. There was another one in St. Thomas, which was, kind of an outlier for me, but I was like, oh, St. Thomas, yeah. So I applied, and then the person said something like, our housekeeper, if the housekeeper was going to come, during the stay a couple times, and they were like, well, if you could bring the dog and put the dog into a room while the housekeeper's there, because the housekeeper's afraid of the dog. I was like, Spidey sense.
That's kind of normal though, because dogs hate vacuum cleaners, and housekeepers come with vacuum cleaners, and
I get it. Yeah, but to
every
me,
house sit, almost every house sit that I've done with dogs, except for the Mexico, my regular client in Mexico, almost everyone with dogs, they have that. Like the housekeeper and the dog do not get along, because dogs and vacuum cleaner. It's really the vacuum cleaner.
It's the vacuum cleaner.
It's the vacuum cleaner.
Well, I did not know that, so I missed out on the St. Thomas. That's okay, because they were like, yes, our house is on a hill, and you can use our car, but it's really hard to get up the hill with a stick. I was like, I want to do that. Your house is beautiful, but like, let's keep it simple for my first international house sit. Keep it simple. So I eliminated a lot of things that probably would have been fine, but I still, keep it
get what you
simple.
want, right? Why risk it? Yeah. So this is another point: the car, right? So a thing that house sitting clients do is that they say a lot of times in the posting that the house sitter needs a car. But you don't need to listen to that. They don't know, right? They don't know if you really need a car in their town or city or not. You need to do your own research and decide if you really need a car. I've had house sitting clients in San Francisco say, sitter needs a car. I'm like, this is San Francisco, the home of Uber. I think Uber and Lyft are both San Francisco businesses, right? Like, this is not a place where you need a car, right? It's nice to have a car, but there's public transportation. There is Uber and Lyft. You can walk to. You're in San Francisco. You can actually walk to the grocery store. You live in a place where you can walk to the. The house that said sitter needs a car. It was their house backed up to a park. You go through the park, which was half a block. Safeway. The Safeway grocery store, not even like a corner market, like Safeway, a 5-minute walk from their house, but it says sitter needs a car. So this is a thing that you need to figure out on your own. Just because it says sitter needs a car doesn't mean that it's a house sit that you're going to need to rent a car for, which I would never do. I would never consider it. You said that you considered that. I would never, right? Or do I need to, something else? That is something that they just don't know. They put it on there. They don't know what they're saying. But they do. I have taken house sits where they let me use their car, especially if they're away, like they're really out of the town, right?
Yeah.
Really away from things. I've done house sits where they give me the car and I don't use it. I've done house sits where they give me the car and I do use it. I've done house sits where they give me the golf cart, right? Like, which I feel better about using. Yeah, yeah. So there are a lot of options out there for your transportation once you get around. Don't let the client tell you that this is a place that needs a car if they don't need a car. Okay, so I wanted to make sure that I bring that up because you see that a lot. Like it'll be like London, Sitter needs a car. Like no, you
Right.
don't need a car in London. Also, if you don't feel comfortable, if they say that they provide a car and you don't feel comfortable with it, it's okay. You don't need to use their car if it's a place where you can get around without it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was a lot of good info just in that one conversation about how you got to this house sit, right? How you got to the 1 through the 20, weeding through those 20 house sits.
I did. It was a good process. And when I finally like talked to the person in Porto, it was so easy. It was just like we talked, and then she had no questions for me. I had no questions for you. It just felt like easy peasy lemon squeezy, and that's I was like, yes, I accept. Like.
And this was a cuddly dog. Someone else said that they also needed a cuddly dog if they were going to house sit too. But like, if you're okay with cats, it's just a non-cuddly dog is basically just a big cat, right? They just do what they want. Yeah.
No, because you have to. Dogs are so much more care.
Yes.
Like
yes.
you have to walk them multiple times a day. You have to make sure they don't chew anything up. Make sure if they're a barker, make sure the neighbors aren't annoyed or whatever.
Yes. I just mean in terms of him or her not being a cuddly dog, right? It's just like a cat. I'm house sitting right now. The cat, where's the cat?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
She likes me in spurts, but today I tried to clean the crust out of her eye, so she doesn't want anything to do with me right now.
Right.
And that's fine. I have a stool right beside me because when I sit here to work, she came up and sat. She wanted to sit on my lap, but she also wanted to sit on the laptop. You know how cats are.
That's sweet.
So I put her.
Somebody asked what my daily routine was in Porto when I was house sitting.
Okay.
So my daily routine was I get up and pee, then I take the dog out to pee immediately, like as soon as possible. Walk around the neighborhood. There was a park like a block and a half away. Go get business done there. Maybe if I felt like walking a little further, we walk a little bit more around the neighborhood, and then I get to see little corners of the neighborhood that I hadn't seen before. And it was good way to get a walk in before it got too hot. Porto's kind of cool in the morning. There's this fog that rolls in off the river. And it's just really cool. Like I guess people in San Francisco are used to seeing it, or Portland or whatever you're seeing. But this is like it just rolls in, and you can see it's like this. Like it's very poetic. It just feels really poetic to me watching the fog roll in the morning. And then I come back and get my coffee and get some breakfast. And actually, so yeah, I had hours before the East Coast workday started. So I could do whatever I wanted for a few hours. So sometimes I would meet somebody for lunch or breakfast, whatever, lunch. Do something, maybe go grocery shopping, meet somebody for lunch, go for a longer walk. And then fire up my laptop, which would be, I guess, 1 or 2 o'clock Porto time. And then work throughout the day, take a lunch break, walk the dog, and then work until the early evening, and then take the dog for another walk, and then go out and do something, go for dinner, or do a meetup, or just sit around and watch TV, watch a movie.
Did you have to stick to the U.S. work schedule, those hours, or did you choose to?
I did. I chose to. I was, I flex a little bit. Like sometimes I start like 7 a.m. their time, so I could end a little earlier.
Okay.
But basically the East Coast 9 to 5, somewhere like the Central hours. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the time difference. Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, I've had weird hours, not with this job, but I've had weird hours before. Like I've worked from 12 to 8 or, something like that. It's kind of like a 12 to 8 schedule. It kind of feels like that. It feels quasi-normal. It's not too bad.
It's not like overnight.
Yeah, it's not overnight. So it's just sort of, you have your morning free as opposed to having like a lot of time in the evening. And
Right.
I don't know, I had a lot of free time. I had a lot of free time. It just shifted it, just opened up my day in an interesting way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you talked about meeting up with people. So who are these people? How did you meet people? You don't live there.
I
How does this happen?
Well, I joined some meetups before I left. So joined some meetups and I checked out some Facebook groups that were having events. And hey, Kitty. Hey. And I just, I signed up for different meetups. So there was one meetup in Porto of like, I can't remember I think it's either She Hit Refresh or another, Go Girl on the Go. I don't know. Anyway, there's meetups, and the one that I remember going to was in like, it was like a picnic where for like witchy women who like to do tarot and Reiki, which is what I like to do. So it was a nice, sweet little meetup. We met in a really beautiful park. Through this and just did some tarot and I did some Reiki on someone. And we just chatted about witchy stuff.
And these are through meetup.com? Like, how do you find out?
I think that was a Facebook group. That was a Facebook group. Yeah. Yeah, and there was like Black in Porto was having events, but I missed like the timing didn't work out. But then I also met someone from your group. Wait,
You did. You met
Yeah.
Regina?
Yeah, I did.
And
We met at the Say, which is a super busy part of Portugal. I mean, Porto. It's like on the hill. I was like, you're gonna make me climb up this hill to this touristy place in the middle of a sunny day. I'm on. Let's do it. So I did it. And then she was like having this whirlwind trip into Porto just for like a day, I think. So we had like a little hi chatty chat, and then she went back to Lisbon. But then, I went, there was like a meetup for like this dinner, but the dinner didn't happen. So I ended up sitting at the bar and talking to the bartender. And then the bartender, like this woman was passing by on the street, and he's like, come in. And she comes in, she's this American woman who lives in Porto, and we get to chat, and she invited me to lunch. So I had lunch with her, then like that a couple days later, and then she had a couple friends there, and her friend invited me to lunch a couple days later. So it just kind of, I just hung out with people as I met them, and and then there was another group that I've been in for a while of women moving to Portugal, and I met up with a couple of women from that group.
So we've got two ways to meet people, okay? I'm telling y'all, if you've not traveled out of the U.S. as a Black woman, I'm so excited for you to do this because, okay, two ways to meet people. First, get in communities of people who are doing what you're doing or into what you're into, right? Kat said she's in the community for witchy women who like tarot and who like other things, healing sessions, right? This lady I'm staying in right now is a Reiki healer. They're her house.
Oh, wow.
Right, so find communities for these people online before you even get to where they live and join them and communicate with them and let them know you're coming. Number one, get in communities for the people who have the same interests as you, even if that interest is just moving to Portugal, right? There's a Black in Portugal Facebook community, huge Black in Portugal Facebook community. So number one, how to meet people and make friends and, not feel lonely when you're abroad. Get in community with people. Number two, just go outside. Like, just go outside. Even though I've said as a Black woman in Portugal, you're not really going to stand out. There are places where just walking down the street, another Black woman will see you and holler at you, and you will become friends, right? It just happens all the time. Join communities, go outside. Like, It's pretty simple. It's a lot easier. I don't remember the last time, except for through my YouTube channel. I don't remember the last time I had I met a new person in the U.S. Like made a new friend in the U.S. Now having a YouTube channel makes it a lot easier, right? I'm just like, hey, I'm in your city. But before YouTube, I can't remember the last new friend that I made. Right? Everyone was from work or from school or from church or whatever.
Yeah.
But as soon as I leave the country, I make a new friend, right?
Yeah,
it's
it's
different.
nice, and it's nice, and I got to just sort of ask them. So what was your journey to living in Portugal? Like, how did you get here, and like, what do you like to do, and what are your favorite spots? And one of the women that I met within Porto, she took me to, like, I met her in her neighborhood, and which was further east than where I had been staying, so I hadn't been to that neighborhood before. And we just walked around, and she showed me, here's this beautiful overlook of the river. Here's one of my favorite walks, and here's, where my husband goes for a run across the bridge over there, and there's a beach. I was like, look at that beautiful beach in Via Nova de Gaia. I didn't know there was like a beach on the other side, like with the sand. And then she took me to this beautiful park, which was actually like part of the water company where you go pay your bills.
Okay. Oh.
They have a
reservoir?
beautiful, they have a beautiful park like attached to it. It's overlooking the river. It's beautiful. They have all this beautiful landscaping, really old, huge trees. It was gorgeous, and I never would have found that. I never.
No.
Oh yeah, I'm going to the water company now to like what? It was so beautiful. Yeah, so it was just so nice to just see other people's parts of the city, what other people do, and just relaxing in their part of the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you travel to a place and meet the people, it automatically becomes a favorite place, right? There are places that I've been where I've met people, and I'm like, oh, it's my favorite place, but really it's because I met some wonderful people, right? South Africa. So yes, South Africa is beautiful, and I had a great time, and I shopped my heart out, and I ate my heart out, right? I did all the things, but really, it was the people that I hung out with are why South Africa is on my list of favorites. It really does change your experience with the place once you meet people who are there and hang out with them. And these were people who were also English speakers, so you didn't have to struggle with.
Yes, they were English speakers.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, so you
My Portuguese just isn't ready, sadly.
Yeah, you find your people wherever.
I'm so sorry about this damn echo.
I don't know that it's your fault. I don't know that it's your fault. I mean, you're on your side. I don't mean fault. I take that back. I don't know if it's on your side. I don't know if it's on my side. I don't want to deal with it. Everybody here has been here long enough to know I'm not going to deal with it, okay? We're going to roll on, all right? Maybe next Saturday, it'll be better. I'm not dealing with it. I don't want to try to figure it out. I turned off my Bluetooth to make sure that it wasn't my Bluetooth trying to connect to something else. That's all I'm going to do. Okay? That's all I'm going to do. I think that there's good info, and I think it's going to be helpful enough that you'll be okay. Everybody will be okay. So, Kat, we've talked for a couple of different times about Kat being a podcaster and a YouTuber. I'm going to link to Kat's podcast now, which is Rebloom Room, where...
Thank you.
You're welcome. Where you have conversations about... Tell us about your podcast.
Yeah, so Rebloom Room is about finding more joy in your life for Black and Brown women who need to experience more joy through self-care, travel, and international retreats. And I'm building a retreat slowly but surely. I'm very cautious in these COVID times about bringing folks together. I want to do it when I feel like it's right, the time is right. So I talk, in the meantime, I talk with women who are finding ways to bring more joy into their lives. So whether it's through yoga, whether it's through international travel. I think I spoke with Adelia. Have I spoken with Adelia? I know I interviewed Adelia a couple times on my blog. Back when she was in Central America, and also when she moved back to Mexico. So yeah, I've talked with some really interesting women and had some good conversations. And I'm thinking for season 2, I might do more of a Sleepy Time podcast. I'm thinking about like doing like works by Black people in the public domain and doing like a Sleepy Time read of those. I'm thinking about it. Yeah.
I think that's a good idea. There are some things that I listen to before I go to bed that I just listen to over and like all the time for a few minutes. Like I said it for like 30 minutes.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about doing that.
Good. Yeah. Very good. Okay. So you're called Rebloom Room
because there are different times in your life when you just are like, I need to do something different. Something's got to change. Whether you're just gone through a divorce or breakup, or you're an empty nester, or you just are looking at your career like, what is happening? It's you get to this point where you're like, I need to do something different. I need to step up a level. I need to get rid of some things that aren't working. So it's sort of Rebloom for me is like, let's do something different and let's make it really good. There are a lot of times in my life when I've sort of wished for things and I've gotten those things and I realized, oh, I don't really want this. You know what I mean? And so I think it's great to really like wish for what you really want. Wish for what you really want and bring that into your life as opposed to picking something out of the air or hearing what somebody else wants.
Yes. I've got the link to Kat's YouTube channel in the description of this video as well and here. So the podcast is a podcast. Sometimes, or not sometimes, the podcast episodes are also on YouTube. So make sure that you're subscribed to Kat's YouTube channel as well so that you can get the information when new episodes are posted. Yeah. So, Kat. So this is when I say I'm going to call you the word. I'm going to call you a contrarian. Okay. Kat is a contrarian like me. I would consider myself also a contrarian. Okay. Kat is a contrarian like me, and one of the first things I knew about Kat as a person who works in the space of helping women live their dreams. I don't have a shorter way to say that, right? We are women who help women live their dreams. One of the contrarian things about Kat is she cannot stand a bucket list. Okay, she cannot stand a bucket list. So you just talked about, you just talked about discovering what it is that you really want, and how do you go after what you really want in life. Okay, so a lot of people would start with a bucket list to figure out what they really want for themselves in their lives, but you don't like that. You can't stand that idea.
Well, I would not use a bucket list. If that works for you, okay. But I think that so you're sitting in the space of I want to do something different. And of course you write down what it is you think you want when you're in that space of I want something different. But I think that once you do the first thing on that list, your mindset's going to change completely. And I think the things that you wrote on that list when you were in the first mindset may not be the things that you want now from that second mindset. If you have that experience, that first experience, that's like, oh wow, things can be different.
Yes.
Then you figure out, okay, what next? Then what next from each of these experiences, rather than like, it just to me, it feels like you're writing a checklist for your boss. And like, I'm going to do this thing, I'm going to do that thing, and then I'm going to check. It does feel like work. It feels like a work thing to me. It feels like you're kind of limiting yourself, your future to the things that you can imagine while you're in a space that you don't want to be in.
Right. And because we're always blooming, right? We are reblooming and reblooming and reblooming. This piece of paper is not dynamic. This piece of paper does not change with us. It doesn't grow with us. And so that list becomes, I don't know.
It's kind of an anchor. It's kind of anchoring you to your old life.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I never thought about it until you said it, right? This is what being a contrarian does. It helps people think about things in a new way, okay? I'm a fan of it, okay? I'm a fan. Yeah, I never thought about that. So I don't really have a bucket list, but y'all know I have a obituary or Wikipedia page that I've written out. And so I feel like it's my duty to make sure that I go back and reevaluate that, to make sure that I'm not driving myself in a direction that I don't want to go anymore, right? I want to go here now. Life is, we're always changing. We're growing and blooming. And so I appreciate that reframing, or not, it's not reframing, that whole, the new idea, right?
Yeah. And when you ask me like where I want to go next, that's why I was sort of like, yeah. I mean, there are places, but I think, if I go to Costa Rica and somebody says, there's I meet somebody who's gone to Nicaragua and they're like, Nicaragua is like the slept-on secret. I might want to go to Nicaragua next.
That's right. Free, be free. Yeah, yes. I think that one of the things that we do, and this might be very similar to the idea of the bucket list, one of the things that we do that I don't like, in one of my contrarian opinions, is that we just try to recreate what we already have when we go to a new place. I don't like it when women are like, oh, I'm going here and I'm going to buy a house, right? I'm moving to Costa Rica and I'm going to buy a house on the beach. I'm like, girl, no, be free, right? That house is going to tie you down just like it tied you down here. I like the idea of being able to say yes to something that you would never have been able to say yes to in your old self, right? I've done things that I would never have been able to do as Sad Stephanie. Sad Stephanie would have never agreed to these things. One time in Cambodia, I went,
I like having a house.
Yes, contrarian.
I like
I'm
having a
telling y'all,
house. I like having my kitchen. I want to cook for myself. I like to have my really nice French cookware.
Yes.
I like it. And I don't love cooking in other people's kitchens. So I like to have, I like to have a little like pied-à-terre, at least a base somewhere.
Speaking of nice cookware, so the lady I'm house sitting for, she has caraway. Is that nice cookware?
Caraway.
It's really pretty. I'm using it as a stand, right? So she's got this beautiful.
Oh, that is pretty.
But this beautiful cookware is not helping her live her dreams. She's out living her dreams. She's out in Asheville hiking. I don't know. Her dream was to go hiking in Asheville. I can't. I'm not the boss of her. It's hot, but that's what she's doing right now. And meanwhile, I'm in her house using her cookware as a laptop stand. Okay, so, you're not gonna convince me, Kat. You're not gonna convince me that the house and the nice cookware is worth the trade-off. If you've never, for women who've never experienced it, for women who've never experienced the ability to just be free. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference between, I've tried it. Like, I'm about to go to Costa Rica. I will have my own place in Costa Rica before this time next year, right? Hopefully before the winter. But I have experienced the untethered life. I've experienced that freedom, and I love it when Black women give themselves a shot at that before recreating what they knew. Just like you're saying with the bucket list, right? That is a time capsule, maybe. Right? That bucket list is a time capsule of who you were on that day, but it's not. It doesn't change. It's not dynamic. It's not gonna. It's not gonna. It
doesn't move with you.
It's stuck in time. Yeah. Yes. All right. Yeah. I'm using her beautiful. I'm sure she loves the cookware because it's displayed. I can't. Let me say. It's over here. It's displayed. You can't see it. Instead of putting it away in a drawer, it's displayed in her kitchen. She loves this cookware, all right? But now, when she wants to live her dreams, I'm here so she can do that. So that's good. Let me remind you guys about the new house sitter toolkit. Okay, so I have a new house sitter toolkit that helps you, that gives you the tools that I use to house sit, right? We booked our house sits through Trusted House Sitters. Yes, that your house sit in Porto was a Trusted House Sitter? Yeah. So we book our house sits through Trusted House Sitters. They're a platform where people who need a house sitter and people who are house sitters can meet each other. And so the new house sitter toolkit has my affiliate link to join Trusted House Sitters, because yes, there's a membership fee. It has the letter that I actually use, the email that I send. As Kat said, you apply for house sits and then you guys agree to have a conversation. It's the actual email that I send. It's the template to the email. You have to put your own stuff in there. But yeah, that's in the new house sitter toolkit. And then some other stuff, because I'm not using her fancy expensive cookware. It's got things like, I think there's an Uber Eats coupon or something in there, right? Because I do that kind of stuff when I house sit. I'm not cooking. I didn't come here to cook. I can't stand cooking. All right. Untethered with maid and butler service. That's right. That's a thing that house sitting can give you. House sitting can give you a housekeeper without a house, right? We've house sat in houses where the housekeeper comes, but we don't pay her. We don't pay for the house. You know, I told y'all I'm doing pools all summer. I'm not taking house sits without a pool. I don't care how nice it is or what city it's in. If you don't have a pool, I'm not agreeing to it, right? I'm not paying for that pool. House sitting is a good way to see, right? Just try stuff, see stuff.
Yeah.
Hi, Talonda. I'm married with 2 teens. Can I become a house sitter with my family? Yes. So some of the clients on Trusted House Sitters are families, and they are a yes to house sitting families coming and house sitting for them. It's not every client, and may not even be most clients, right? Most clients are probably going to be a no, right?
Yeah.
But there are families who are traveling who do want a family house sitting.
Yeah, my first house sit was a local house sit here in DC, and they had 2 kids. And yeah, I mean, if I'd wanted to, it was a local house sit, so I wasn't sitting with my kid, but if I'd wanted to, I'm sure it would have been fine. And actually, they had all these books about preparing for the college application process that I was like reading them voraciously during the time I was there. I was like, ooh, I get these books, I don't have to buy them. So I was taking notes and reading off of their college prep stuff. So yeah.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, so I think you're more likely to get a yes from a family than from a solo person, particularly because, you know, you need a little more space. You want a house that has space for people. But I think, but yes, the answer is yes. There are families who house sit. I interviewed Tanaj and Tino here on this channel, and they house sat once with their teenager. They had one teenage son. I think he's not a teenager, he's a grown up now. But they have house sat with their teenager, so it's a yes. Also, Talonda, like seriously, if you just need some alone time, house sit without everybody, okay? You can mix that in there as well. Just a little pro tip. Adele says, how long do you stay in the house throughout the day? So Kat, your when you told us your daily schedule, because you're working, you stayed in the house sometimes.
I did.
Yes.
And also because it was a dog. So if it was a cat sit, I would have felt comfortable staying out longer. Because it was a dog, they needed to be taken out to do the business. So there was like an Airbnb experience that I was looking at doing. It was a 9 or 10 hour excursion out of the city, and I was like, I don't want to do that. I mean, I wanted to do it, but I couldn't stay away that long. So there were some, it did kind of keep me in a little bit of a time box, because I want to make sure that I'm walking the dog, every 4 hours, except for when I'm sleeping. So, about that. So, yeah. I was working, so it was not a big deal.
Most clients are really good about telling you that animal's schedule in their posting. Like before you even apply for the house sit, is this a house where I'm going to need to be around a lot? Is this a house where I can just give them breakfast and be gone until dinner, right? You'll know that ahead of time. And so if it's in a place where you want to be out there doing things and living, then apply for house sits that will allow you to be out there living. I do things. So
I think cats make it a little easier. The first house that I did was a cat and a dog, which was really sweet. I loved it. Because they were like, I got the best of both worlds.
Yes.
But I did, like the dog, he was actually a 3-legged dog. So his walks were not very long, just walk. But he couldn't, so the bedroom was upstairs and he couldn't come upstairs just too hard to go up the stairs with 3 legs. So they had a baby gate, but the cat would come upstairs and sleep in the bed with me.
Mhm.
Nice and cozy. I like it.
I like it too. This is the thing about house sitting. People's pets sleep in the bed with them. I didn't know that. I've had dogs. My dogs never even got in the bed with me. I didn't know this until I started house sitting. People's pets sleep in the bed with them, and when they leave, those pets sleep in the bed with you, no matter what they do.
Yes.
I don't care.
Yes, this dog in Porto was a good 60 pounds, and he was in the bed with me. It was fun. I liked it.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
if you're not into that, you need to ask before. Like, if that's a deal breaker for you, definitely ask the homeowner, does Mr. Kitty get in the bed? Does Mr. Puppy get up on the bed? And if so, that might not be the house fit for you.
That's right. That's right. You can find something that's going to fit your needs. There are houses that I don't do. When they use the magic word gardening, I don't do it, because in the UK, gardening means cut the grass, right? They don't mean like pull the carrots.
Weeds.
They don't mean that. They mean cut. I don't do. You don't see them that often, but there's always going to be some house sits that you're into, and there's always going to be some house sits that you're not into. You just keep on scrolling.
Yeah, the one in Vermont had chickens. I've never taken care of chickens before, but I was up for it.
Yeah.
I was up for it, and they made it like they had, they'll have instructions for, how to feed the chickens, how often, what they eat, what to do. You just have to make sure they're in there and close it so they don't get eaten by a fox at night. One thing I definitely won't do is horses.
No, same. I don't do horse sits either. My house sit on Tuesday has chickens in the backyard. Tuesday, Nashville. Backyard chickens and a swimming pool. I'm going to be in heaven. I'm eating fresh eggs all week. Okay, omelets flowing with abundance. Yeah, I don't do horses either. I've done a house sit for a lady I've done 2 house sits for 2 different women who had dogs and horses. I took care of the dogs, and they had someone else come and take care of the horses because I don't do that. Yeah. It's you can find what you are into, right? If you want to house sit only bunnies. You can house sit only bunnies. Yeah. KM Ross, 73. I'm a teacher and have 2 months in the summer. Could I house sit in the summer? Absolutely. House sitting is perfect for teachers because everyone's traveling in the summer. House sitter season. The summer is one of many house sitter seasons, but summertime is house sitter season. So is winter break. That's also house sitter season. Spring break, also house sitter season. So you're available at the perfect time to be able to house sit. It's perfect for teachers. I love to see teachers house sit. It's a way to kind of create your own sabbatical. You can use house sitting to create your own sabbatical is the best way I think.
Yeah, and I think you just have to know what you want to do. Like I interviewed with somebody in Brooklyn way before my first house sit, and everything seemed fine, and then they were like, and then you have to give him his medicine. I was like, what now? Wait. I was not ready to give somebody else's animal a medicine on a 4-hour schedule. That was going to be, for me, just no. You ask the questions, and you just have to know what your deal breakers are, what you really want. And you might only learn that, like I did, you might only learn that as you're talking to people, as you're replying. You won't always know the question to ask until you're in that situation and you're like, oh, wait a minute. Like, how steep is that hill to your house? Is your car a stick or is it automatic? Oh, okay. All right, that's going to be tough. Okay. It's those details that make a big difference.
Yes. Absolutely.
And somebody asked me if I picked up after the dog. Yes, ma'am, I did.
Yeah.
I pick up after the dog.
Yes. Pet sitters pick up poop. Cat sitters, dog sitters, I don't know.
Scooping, pooping.
Even chicken sitters probably scoop poop, I guess. I don't really know. I'll learn on Tuesday. Yes, that's part of it, right? If you're taking care of pets, you're picking up poop. If you've ever had a cat or dog, you know that, right? They poop. Everybody poops.
Everybody poops. Yeah.
Spirit
My cat just came into the room.
Spirit, hi Kat. Spirit Journey just asked a couple of times, and I'm sorry, I have seen your question, I just haven't gotten to it. So thank you for asking it again so that I don't forget it. How are they treating Americans in Portugal? I heard there was a challenge recently. So if anyone doesn't know, Portugal is a very popular place, not only Americans. It's not Americans causing problems, right? People from all over the world with a little dough have learned that their dough can stretch a little bit more in Portugal, and that Portugal has 300 days of sun. The same reasons that we like Portugal, people from all over the world like Portugal, and they've gone to Portugal with their money, and prices with Portugal have gone up. Now, are these people alone responsible for inflation? Of course not, right? That's not how inflation works. But there is there are rumors of anti-visitor and anti-digital nomad and anti-expat sentiment in Portugal at this moment. Did you have any experiences with that?
So yeah, I think I might answer that in a roundabout way. So during the pandemic, there was, during the lockdowns, there were moves, at least in Porto and I believe Lisbon also, by the mayors of those cities to incentivize those who owned Airbnbs to convert them into long-term rentals for that locals could afford.
Yes.
So that's just sort of an example. Like I think the Airbnbization of cities has had a tendency to make the rents higher or make long-term rentals that local people can afford harder to find. And that has an effect. That has a real effect on people who live in these cities. And so, yes, there is some effect. I know that if I were pushed out of my neighborhood because I couldn't afford it, or if rents were going higher, I would be a little bit irritated. Gentrification is a thing. It's a thing in DC. I'm witnessing it. I'm witnessing it with my very own eyes. So I wouldn't say necessarily it's based on Americans. I think it's based on the fact that it's increasingly difficult for people locally to afford their own town.
That's right.
That's a real challenge that we have to figure out how to do, I think, which is sort of why I'm leaning away from Airbnbs, just because, I mean, they're an easy solution as somebody who wants to come in. We know exactly why we'd want to stay in an Airbnb, but I'm also feeling less comfortable with it. And that's just picking on Airbnb. I'm sure there are other things, restaurants with prices that are higher, bars that have expensive prices that locals can't afford. So there is a little bit of local, non-local tension. Because the salaries in Portugal are not very high, right? They're like 600 euros a month, maybe, is like the average. Something like that, 6 or 7 euros, 100 euros a month is like an average salary. So if you consider how much an Airbnb would be a month, like nobody's going to be able to afford that on that salary.
No.
So yeah, there's definitely gentrification tension.
Yeah,
especially in the bigger cities.
I'm struggling with the Airbnb thing too. I don't know. So on one hand, as a person who's traveling to a new place, an Airbnb is probably the easiest way to put money into the hands of local people. But you get in the Airbnb and you find out they're not local and it's owned by some corporation, like in Curacao. I get in the Airbnb and it's owned by a corporation in the Netherlands, right? But there is a way to do Airbnbs in a way that it does give money to local people, but then it is also making that particular place and all of these other places listed on Airbnb no longer affordable to the people who actually live there. So I'm having the same conflict within myself. Like, what do I do? House sitting is one thing, right? So just go places and house sit there is one thing that nobody's going to be up in arms about. Like, nobody's going to be up in arms about me being there as a house sitter like they would about me being there as an Airbnb stayer.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know what the solution is. I'm not
I don't either.
saying, don't do it, but I'm just saying, like, there are we adding to the gentrification? Yes, we probably are.
Yes. Yes. So those thoughts are on my mind. I don't know what action to take, right? Like, I don't know what action to take to fix it. We're in a global world. We're in a world now where people are just bopping. People are moving from place to place, particularly people with a powerful passport, right? People with the US passport, the UK passport. They want to utilize it. So I've been thinking about the same questions. I don't know the answers either. I think that we can do the best that we can do individually.
Yeah, and I was happy to see that the mayors were doing that, convincing folks to make more housing for people locally. And I think in some places they have reduced the number of licenses that they're giving out for people to legally do the Airbnb. So
Yes.
we'll see what happens after this.
And Amber's given us a good solution too. Amber Johnson Logan. So I've done this as well. You can actually stay in local people's homes, in a room in their home. That's a way that you know that your money is going to a local person when you're staying in an Airbnb that is a room inside their home. I felt really good about myself doing that. I've done that in Mexico and South Africa. So that is a way to make sure that you're not contributing to the Airbnb problem in a negative way, but that you're contributing in a positive by giving money to that family.
No, I like that solution. And I mean, it's a little challenging during COVID times.
Yes.
That could be a challenge, but I do like that solution. And when I went to Lisbon this time, and Porto in the fall, I actually stayed in a hotel. Because that's what they're for.
Yes. Yeah. We get choices. We can mix them in. I'm not a person who thinks you have to only do it one way, right? Like, so like, I'm okay with, so if I'm going to stay in an Airbnb, then can I also stay in another type of property at some point to try to at least lessen the impact? Right. I'm not going to be a 0 on a 0 to 10 Airbnb scale. I'm not going to be a 0. I'm going to stay in Airbnb. But can I mix in some other things too that are better choices for the people? Yeah,
I would be totally open to it. I've stayed in folks' apartment, shared the Airbnb in like Montreal. I remember I did that before the pandemic. So I'd totally be open to doing that in Portugal. Definitely. Yeah.
Yes. Hi, Raven. Thank you very much for that super chat. Good morning. All right, so we'll give Kat the super chat so that she can give herself I don't know, DC. What's the DC food? What's your food? You're vegan. I didn't mean to make a face.
Vegetarian. I get the face.
You're vegan, right?
I eat plants. I eat vegetables. I eat fruit all day. Yeah.
I'm sorry for the face.
That's okay.
But
I'm a pescatarian. I'm pescatarian. Yeah.
Okay. So another reason Portugal would have been okay, right? No problems. So people never really ask me about that. Even though I know a handful of y'all are vegans, you never ask me about, like, how is it eating in a place as a vegan? I guess because I'm not a vegan. But so Portugal was okay, pescatarian-wise.
Porto, man. Oof, if you're not a meat eater in Porto, it's a challenge. Like, you really have to. I mean, they have restaurants that are vegetable-based, but that is not the default in Porto. Porto is all about the francesinha, that meat sandwich that's like this tall, and it's got like this orange glossy sauce on top, and you eat it with a fork, and then you don't need a meal for the rest of the day. That's francesinha. That's Porto's, like, I don't know, half smoke or whatever. That's their Philly cheesesteak. That's the thing in Porto. So that's what you get if you go to a traditional restaurant in Porto. You get that francesinha and the meat fries, all of that, which is not how I eat. So yeah, but I just I front loaded a lot of restaurants that I knew were vegetable friendly.
Yeah.
Like they just don't do vegetables there. In fact, they call green beans, what do they call them? Little shrimps of the garden or something. Sardines of the garden, I think they call it. It's like they gotta take a green thing and turn it into something meaty.
That's funny.
They can't just have a green bean.
I don't
They
remember.
gotta have a sardine of the garden.
I remember eating just a lot of fish in Portugal. I don't remember. I never had that sandwich. I know I didn't because I would remember that. And then I once I discovered the pastel de nata, the pastéis de nata. I mean, I really I didn't need food after that. I just ate that.
Yeah, it's good. It's really sweet. But yeah, there's more. I found it easier in Lisbon. Lisbon, I could just walk down the street and just start drooling at something. Yeah. A lot more fish. It was easier, and it's easier for me in Lisbon as a pescatarian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
But it's doable in Porto for sure. You just have to kind of front load it. I had one of my favorite meals there was at a vegan restaurant.
Okay.
So delicious.
Okay. Okay.
If you like that kind of thing.
Is that a thing? So okay. So it's been years since I was in Portugal. But are vegan restaurants up and coming? Because you do see a lot of vegan restaurants popping up in Mexico, or maybe not popping up, already in existence in Mexico.
Good. Yeah.
Is that a thing in Portugal? Okay.
Yeah, they're coming up. They're coming up. There are a few kind of anchor places that I always know if I'm getting hangry, I just go to Pine Kitchen. I just go to Datera. There's a couple places that are solid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. That's good. Okay. Monica, thank you very much for the super chat for language learning. Check out Jamila Craig on Gmail Linguist. She specializes in Black language learners. Okay. Portuguese and Spanish are her specialties. She revolutionized my business. Okay, thank you. Jamila Craig and Jamil Linguists. Okay, thank you very much for that info, Monica. And then Alpha Male, thank you for this super chat. Love your channel. Just turned my wife onto it as well. Thank you very much. Tell your wife we said hey. All right, thank you, friends, for that super chat. For those super chats. Okay. Yeah. All right. So we've talked about
Michelle lives in Porto. There's somebody who lives in Porto.
Okay.
Sweet.
Michelle. Is she okay? And so she's giving us restaurants or anything. Okay, good. Is there so we've talked Portugal and we've talked house sitting. We did what we came to do? What did we not do?
Maybe.
So I really did think that you had been to Croatia when we were doing the thing. You remember you were in the hammock.
I'm always in the hammock, almost always. I spent 2 years in that hammock. Lockdown was hammock time.
Yes. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So another place that I'm thinking of going, because I spoke with, on my channel, I spoke with Juju, who has been traveling around Italy and Croatia, Greece, just trying to get to Turkey. And she totally inspired me, and now I want to go to Italy.
Okay.
I would like to do some travel in Italy.
Okay.
So I've been through Italy, but I haven't really spent time there. So I think I would maybe be a next house sit.
Yes. Italy is a place where you can find a house sit. That's right. Yeah.
There were some really nice ones.
Yeah, Tonisha, she was just house sitting in Portugal, just got back to the U.S., back to D.C. I am currently house sitting in exotic Raleigh, North Carolina, but she just finished a house sit in Portugal. Yeah. We, I think when we talk about scouting places, it's normal to want to start with the places that we know have a strong path to residency for us. Right? And I don't know anything about getting residency in Italy. And so I've
heard it's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
I've heard it's there are people who do it through grandfathering in, that way. Even that takes a year or two, I've heard. They don't, for some reason, Italy doesn't seem to want people like this. So that's why it hasn't been big on my radar. but just as a place to spend time, seems like a sweet, sweet place.
It does.
Delicious,
I-
delicious.
I've got my eyes on Florence for a nice long vacation, long trip. I've never been, but I think that I would like it. Okay, I see you guys asking this question. I'll put it back on the screen, okay? And then if you're watching the
I'm gonna
replay,
write that down too. Yeah,
for
the
the
replay.
future, I'll put it in the description as well. Jamila Craig of Jamii Linguists, Jamii Linguists.
All right, I'm gonna look her up. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Whew. All right. So what else do we have? Okay, we answered questions about gentrification, language. What else?
Let's see. Okay, so you guys, this is the last call for your questions. I'm meeting some vacarians. I'm meeting some of you guys for brunch. Yeah, we're meeting for brunch in less than an hour. So this is the last call for you. So get your questions out. I'm going to link to Kat's YouTube channel. Again, Rebloom Room. All right. Again, if you're watching the replay, that's already in the description.
Yeah. Maybe I'll answer. Maybe I'll talk about the questions that I asked when I talked to folks.
Okay.
Like after I've applied, we have a YouTube, like a Zoom call. And so I guess the thing I asked about the any deal breakers, like a Wi-Fi, like how fast I tell them if I'm going to be working. How you guys have fast Wi-Fi? Like where am I going to be sleeping? You know, I won't sleep in a basement room. Just won't do it. Because I hate the basement. So you know, where am I sleeping? You know, is there anything like any weird thing about the house? Any like just just anything weird. Anything I need to know about the house.
Yeah.
If there's a car, I'll ask like, what is it, automatic or stick? I drive stick, but it's good to know. And anything else about the property, garden, neighbors, anything about the neighbors. This time I didn't ask to meet the neighbors. I felt it was fine. It was an apartment building. It was like people coming and going. It was fine. But yeah, just questions like that. Anything that is a deal breaker for you. So if you don't want the dog sleeping on the bed, if that doesn't work for you, ask them, does the dog sleep on the bed? I ask about, how close is the supermarket? How close is the metro? And then I usually, once they give me the address, I put it in Google Maps and I start mapping stuff. Like I map grocery store, I map metro, I bus, I map, restaurants, I map it. So I know kind of in my mind's eye, how close I'm going to be to things that I need.
That's right. Yeah. You get the neighborhood before you book, and then once you confirm, you get the address. A lot of times, even in the listing, they'll tell you they're within 5 miles. There are two grocery stores and a park and whatever, right? Some people are really good at listing their homes, and some people are not really good at it. But you will see there are listings out there where they'll tell you exactly all of this information up front. And then others you will need to ask. You do need to ask, is anyone coming to the house while you're gone? Like some people will have a repair person coming. I don't like that. I don't want to be responsible for keeping an eye on this repair person. Housekeeping, wonderful. I love it when they tell me the housekeeper comes. Sometimes they'll ask, they'll be like, we're gone for 2 weeks, so that she's going to come anyway. Are you okay with that? I'm like, yes, please. Yes, please.
Thank you. The local house I had, they had programmed their Roombas. Their Roombas to come. And I was like sitting in the living room and I heard this heck. And I saw the little Roomba coming through. I was like, oh, thank you. Thank you so much for getting that dog hair off the ground.
Houses are very they're wired today. So I've seen the question a couple of times about cameras in homes. I don't know. This is one of the questions that I don't get. I don't understand the question. Have y'all been secretly filmed? Is this a real fear that people have? I don't get the question. So it's 2022. There are cameras in people's homes. They have a camera normally if they have a Ring doorbell, right? And then sometimes they have a camera that's pointed at the front door from inside the house. Sometimes they have a camera that is pointed at the pet's play area, right? Before COVID, that was more common, I think, because people went to work and they like to watch their cat or dog play while they were at work, or watch the dog get on the sofa and watch TV, right? Like people had cameras in their homes anyway. Yeah, but yeah, people have cameras in their homes, right? Like
Yeah.
I've never found a hidden camera. I don't have anything that would be super interesting for people to watch me too.
Yeah, I wasn't worried. It didn't cross my mind. I'm like, you're gonna watch me feeding the dog? Okay. You're gonna watch me hanging up my laundry? Okay.
There's nothing super interesting that makes me
You're
feel
watching me clickety clacking for 8 hours a day. I'm like,
right. What they're really going to learn is how much time I actually did spend in that house, right? Like she stayed in the house the whole time. Other than that, I don't have any fear of being secretly filmed, okay? And so I don't have an experience with finding a hidden camera. These are people, right? These are people who live their lives. There are easier ways to get secret footage of people than to go through the process of taking a vacation. If you want to get secret footage of women naked, just put a camera in a public restroom or something, in a gym. Go to a gym, stick up a camera, go. Planning a full vacation and moving your whole family, packing your whole family up and taking them away is probably the least helpful way of getting footage of people. So I like the question. Every time, I'm sorry, y'all. Listen, y'all know, okay? I'm gonna comment on things. I don't understand the source of the question. If I'm missing something, tell me, okay? I don't understand that question. No, but the answer is no. I've never found a hidden camera. Yes, there are cameras in people's homes. It's 2022. There are cameras. You're on camera all the time. We're on camera. But these are just regular people. I think some of this comes from the fear of other people being like monsters. There are monsters out there, but they're probably your next door neighbors, right? Like, you live in America, you live among the monsters. We are not going to other countries to fear the other person, the other people. Just like I'm trying to talk y'all out of putting English as a priority, English widely spoken as a priority, I hope that I can help you not be afraid of other people just because they're others, just because they're not whatever you identify as. I'm Delawareans. I'm from Delaware, so I have to fear all non-Delawareans. I hope that we can put an end to that, because the real monsters are right next door to you. Okay? The real monsters are on your job. Okay? The real... These people in Ireland, these people in Ireland or in Porto or in the Bahamas, they're just people living their lives, okay? They just want to live their lives, and they want somebody to take care of their pets while they're gone.
Right. And like they're planning for their vacation. They are so busy. They're getting their kids together, figuring out logistics of their trip. They are packing and repacking and getting everything ready. And if the last thing they're trying to think about is, ooh, let me watch her cook some spaghetti.
How do I get footage of her staring at her laptop for 8 hours? Right.
So
Cheryl,
riveting.
This is how I feel about it. Cheryl was like, even if the camera's in the bathroom, the joke's on them. Like, what do you... I don't have anything that is going to be of any interest to anybody. I got the same body parts. Like, I got the same body parts as everybody else. There's no money. There's no cash. Okay? There's no cash in selling footage of me butt naked. I promise you. I've seen it. There's nothing, right? There's nothing that I need to protect and guard. I don't think. If I'm missing this, tell me and Cheryl, because me and Cheryl don't get it. That's exactly how I feel. Joke's on them, right? If they want to go through all this trouble to get footage of me butt naked, joke's on them. There's no money there. There's no money there. That's it. Okay. So I've listed Kat's, I've listed where you can follow Kat. Make sure that you go and do that. But what I did not do is list a resource that Kat has created for you, okay? You know that this is one of my special passions, interests, getting unstuck, okay? If you are feeling stuck and you don't know what steps to take, Kat has made a what to do next playbook. Okay? This is important. We are taking action and agency over our lives, our future, ourselves. You don't have to always feel stuck. I have been stuck, and I have thought that that was just going to be my life until I got to 65. I did. I thought at 40, this is it for me. My life is just a sum of the things I didn't get and the things I didn't do. And I thought, well, okay, maybe I will get a new start at 65. And I thought that, I really did think that that was just how I was going to have to live. Spoiler alert, it wasn't, okay? And you can get unstuck. That feeling of stuck, it's good to know that you feel stuck and not just think that this is life, okay? Because it took me a while to realize I was just stuck. This wasn't my whole life. I was just stuck. You can get unstuck. Kat has made a resource for you, the What to Do Next playbook, What to Do Next playbook. I've already linked to it in the description of this video, okay? If you aren't interested in house sitting, if you aren't interested in moving abroad, this is still a resource for you. Now, if you are, good resource. This is a good way for you to figure out what is the first steps. Things just seem overwhelming, right? We have our whole daily life to live, and we want to try to plan a whole new life. It can seem it's overwhelming. It's not seeming, it is overwhelming. So what you need is, you need to know the steps. You need to know, what do I do next, okay? Kat made a video, Ms. Contrarian Kat, so she made another video about me saying baby step. I say, don't use the term baby steps, just call them steps. Kat's like, no, we're gonna call them baby steps, and here's why. So she's got a video on her YouTube channel. I don't have the link to the specific video, but I have the link to her YouTube channel, right? Which is Rebloom Room, copy, paste, Rebloom Room, okay? When you're feeling stuck, really the solution is, what is the first step, okay? So I hope that you will download her playbook and use it, thank you, okay? Download Kat's playbook and use it. This is a channel where it can be easy to watch people do things and forget that you're supposed to be doing yourself, okay? You don't have to just watch people live their dreams. You don't have to just watch Kat flit around Portugal and, you know, enjoy house sitting. You don't have to just watch it. You can do these things too, because we're not exceptional. We're not exceptions. We're people. I know you're not gonna like that. The contrarian in Kat is telling her, here's why you're wrong, okay? But I stand by that. I'm not exceptional. I'm not. I know, because I've met enough people to know, oh, I'm just like them, right? I'm not. These things are for you as well. So please take some steps. Please take a step. Please take a step. This is me begging you to please take a step. I don't want this to be a channel for entertainment. Right? As you can tell by the fact that I'm not interested in making sure I have good sound, making sure I have good it's because this is not entertainment, okay? I want you to live your dreams. I mean that, okay? So we've got the link to the playbook here and in the description of the video, okay? Kat? Okay. You're not exceptional, you disagree. I'll let you end on this, okay? You want to end on why you disagree with calling yourself not exceptional?
I think that we're all exceptional. I think we're all amazing, spectacular. We all can do amazing things. Yes. We're all spectacular, exceptional.
Yes. Okay. Okay. I don't think that's what exceptional means. I don't think. I'm gonna do my Googles. I'm gonna Google and then I'm gonna.
Spectacular.
I don't think that's what exceptional means.
Amazing.
But I do agree that we can do whatever. We can do whatever. We have the power. We have to use it. Okay.
Well, I feel like anybody can do this, or everybody can do this. The thing that you want to do, and you think somebody else is doing that. Why not you? Why not? Somebody's going to get the prize. Somebody's going to be up there doing it. Why not you?
That's it.
No reason. No reason.
That's it. I got a comment just yesterday on my video about where the rich men at. Comment was, but you're not that cute. And I'm like, listen, why not me? I believe that. I really believe that. So right now there is someone who is where I am on the beauty scale. You really can't tell me I'm not beautiful. I'm my father's daughter. Okay, I do have that ego. But
You are
even
that
if,
cute, by the way.
even if, right, there is somebody who looks like me who has the life of her dreams. So why not me? She's not an exception. That's what I mean by not exception. She's not an exception. She's just a human who is living her dreams out loud, right? I'm gonna do it too. Yeah. So yeah, I hope that you walk away from today's video, friends, with that mantra. Why not me? Why not me? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We want it for you. Okay. Okay. All right. Now you just complimenting. I promise you don't have to compliment me. Okay. Y'all don't know the ego I have. Okay. Y'all don't. I am superficial and vain and all of those things. You don't have to undo that work. I'm just telling you that the thing that you want, somebody like you already has that thing. Somebody just like you already has that thing. So why not you? Why not me? Why not Kat? We're going to go get it. We're going to get it. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've got the links to Kat's channel, links to Kat's podcast, link to Kat's Instagram, and the link to Kat's download. Okay, get the download. Thank you for already downloading it. Or thank you for already signing up for it. Those of you who have done that. Okay. Thank you for hanging out, Kat.
Thank you so much. I love this.
Good. I'm glad.
Sorry about the echo, ladies. We tried.
They've had worse. Okay, we've had worse on this channel. When I tell you, one of my top performers for a full year, the sound and the audio had like a full 2-second delay. All right, it's been much worse. Everybody is okay. All right, we all gonna be.
Perfection is overrated.
We agree on this. Okay, Raleigh gang. I'll see y'all at the First Watch restaurant on
Sweet.
Cata something. I'm sorry, I don't remember I'm sorry. The First Watch restaurant. Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all the easiest way if you're in Raleigh and you didn't email me and you still want to go. We're meeting at 12:30. It's a restaurant in the shopping center named Plantation something. I can't believe it, but this is the South. The shopping center is called something Plantation.
Oh well.
That's the South. We're going Capitol Boulevard, 6320 Capitol Boulevard. Okay, so I'm heading there right away. All right. See you guys. Thanks, friends. Thank you, Kat.
Thanks everyone. Love you all.
Bye, guys.